Hello, welcome to another track guide. This is for the oNiD Simhound Rookie Amateur Championship. Upcoming Season 1, we have now changed to SimGrid. It is officially Season 1, some people will call it Season 3, but it is Season 1 of the new format. We're at Watkins, Glen. It's for the upcoming championship, which is the British vs America Championship. The track conditions, what I've done this here will be different because I did this during the last Race and Stronger season. It's a bit further in the day. The temperatures here were a lot cooler. I think they were mid-teens, 16 degrees. The conditions you will have in the amateur championship will be afternoon, much hotter. You'll have a lot more grip. But this is just a rough guide for your braking point, your accelerating point and your lines. As usual, 54 litres of fuel, which I would consider your average race stint. So we'll get going round. So as you come down the start finish straight, you want to be keeping to the left hand side. Give yourself as much angle as possible for the corner. Your braking point for T1 is the 200 metre board. As you hit that, you want to hit the brakes. I personally, in the Porsche, go down to second for this corner. Some people will take it in third. Whatever car you're using, you will get the feeling for what it's most comfortable with. But for the Porsche, it's generally second. So as you trail off the brakes as you're coming in, trail off slowly. The aim is to get your right-hand side tyres in this delve here just before the curb. As I take this corner, I actually hit the curb, which unsettles the car a bit. But the goal is to get your right-hand side tyres on the red and yellow inside curb, and the camber of the corner will drag you round. So as you're on the curb, or the red and yellow bit, get on the power. Full power all the way around, using all of the available exit curb you can. Keep your right-hand side tyres on this curb. It is so easy to brake. Track limit here, it will invalidate your lap straight away, which it's just a headache. It's very easy to do. Keep your right hand side tyres on the red and yellow curb. If you have to practice it numerous times, do it. It is worth doing it because getting a good exit out of this corner can cost you 4, 5 tenths up this next section, and that's not an exaggeration. Practice till you get this corner right, because if you mess this corner up, your whole lap's messed up. So we will go back and watch it in real time. So you want to be keeping left. When you hit the 200, brake down, trail off the brakes, get back on the power halfway round, don't break track limits, and this will give you a good run up. Stay as tight to the curbs as you can as you go up. It helps you carry speed better throughout. Full power all the way up here. Get across to the left and getting ready for your braking marker for the bus stop chicane, which is the Marshall hut here. I'll give a quick explanation of how I go through this before you see it, and I'll explain as I go through, but at the Marshall hut, I will hit the brakes and go down to 4th gear, and I will cut the first curb, and as I roll over it, I will lift off the brakes completely, because if you brake or accelerate on that curb, it will unsettle the car. As I roll off the curb onto the concrete, I will dab the brakes again, shifting down to 3rd gear, turning left to cut to the inside corner. And as I play it slowly, you will understand what I mean. So I will brake at the hut, down to 4th, cut this curb, off the brake as I come over. Once I'm on the concrete, I'll dab the brakes again, cutting this inside corner. The goal is to keep as tight to this line as you can, because as soon as you come off that second curb, you want to be on the power full, and you will cut the inside of this left-hand curb and then cut the inside of the right-hand one to give you the best line through the corner and carry as much speed as you can. Again, cut the left. When you cut the right, Don't cut it too much because there's a real nasty bump in the middle somewhere and it will flick the back of your car up and you'll end up in the trees. So use the black rubber marks on the curb as a reference to how much curb you can take. If you go through it a few times and crash, just find your limit and you will go through, carry as much speed as you can. So I will play that back in real time. So as you hit the hut, brake, down to fourth, brake again, cutting all the corners, back on the power. And as you leave that curb, if you haven't hit the bump, you will come along. As you pass this last whiteboard, you want to let off the throttle completely whilst turned in. Again, I'm off completely. I will shift down to third. And as I pass this opening on the right hand side, as it goes out of my line of vision, I will get back on the power. Stay tucked to the right. The camber of the corner will drag you around nicely. Full power all the way around as fast as you can. Use this exit curb. You can see the black marks on the curb with this being an optimum track. Use this exit curb. Don't use it past where the curb ends because again there's a nasty bump that lives around here which will send you to the trees. Nobody wants that. So use the curb while it's there, but be off it before the end of it. Carrying as much speed as you can. We will watch that back in real time. So as you pass the last whiteboard lift, shift down, back on the power at the opening, use the exit curb, and then the goal is to get back across to the right because your braking marker for this corner is that concrete patch there with the drain. Once you approach that, you want to be on the brakes. I go down to second for this. Trail off, I come on off and on them slowly, just getting grip on the car. Get turned in, keep as tight to the left as you can. And as you pass the crowd strike board, as your car goes past that, that is your indicator to get back on the power. As I've gone past it again, keep tight to the left. You may have to feather the throttle, you may be able to plant it, whatever the best feeling is for you. The camber of the corner drags you around nicely. Again with this exit curb, use it where it's black. As it starts to narrow, you want to be off it by then because there's another nasty bump that lives here, which will send you to the trees. So use the exit curb, but get back off it as quick as you can, which gives you a run down to the next corner. We will watch that in real time. So over at the right, brake at the concrete, down to second, accelerate as you pass the crowd strike sign, use the exit curb, get back over to the left for the next braking point. Your braking point for this corner is 100 metres, and some people look and think that's too late, but the bonus of this corner is as you turn and up it, it's uphill, so it helps slow the car down, which enables you to brake so late. So you want to be over at the left. As soon as you hit the 100 metre board, you want to be on the brakes all the way down to second. Keep your right hand side wheels on the curb, as you can see where it's black. Brake as you're going round. As the front of your car is level with the Marshall hut, you want to be back on the power. You can feather it, you can full throttle it, I feather it slightly. Keep as tight to the inside curb as you can. Accelerating all the way around because the camber will drag you around, it allows you to. The concrete will widen here. Use all of it. Don't go on the grass because it will slow you down, but use all of the available track to carry the most speed through the corner, which leads you onto the straight. So we will go around and watch that in real time. So you want to brake at the 100, keep tight, turn in, accelerate at the Marshall hut, use all of the available tarmac, keep to the left, ready for the next corner. Your braking point for this one is as you pass the 200, as it goes out of your line of vision, you want to be on the brakes, all the way down to second gear, get turned in just before the last rebellion timepiece sign, trail off the brakes slowly. You want your right hand side tyres on the curb, and as the front of my car starts to line up with the mortal sign, that's my point to accelerate. You may do it earlier, later, it depends how whatever car you drive and how it feels, but for me in the Porsche I use the mortal sign as my reference. You might have to feather the throttle here, you might be able to full power it, it depends on the grip. Careful not to run wide here, you can break track limits here, get a speed token for a drive through. Be careful with it. As long as you keep your right hand side tyres on the red yellow curb, you should be fine. As soon as you've come round, you want to be back over to the right hand side, but before we get into this corner, we will watch this one in full time. So you want to brake at the 200, down to second, accelerate at the mortal sign, make sure you don't break track limits. You want to be back across to the right as quick as you can, because your braking point for this corner is that last AWS sign on the right. If somebody takes that out, you have a bit of a problem, because you can use the first one on the left, but it's a bit too far forward, you will overshoot if you use that one. This is the ideal one. If somebody does take it out, use that one and adjust slightly, but it is really this AWS marker here which is your braking point. So as you approach it, you want to be down to second, trail off the brakes slowly. Your brake control around this corner is quite important, because you need to trail off slowly to keep the grip in the front end. As you see, I'm on and off it quite a lot. You want to be keeping as tight as you can turned to this curb. And as you start to see the Marshall hut, as it comes into your line of vision, you want to start getting back on the power. Again, you can feather, as I am. You can full power it if you're feeling brave. But you want to be keeping tight to the left on the power, using the exit curb. It's a small curb, make sure you don't hit the wall because it will ruin your lap. And that will give you a nice run out all the way down. So we will go back and watch this one in real time. It is a tricky corner because it's off camber. You might spin on it, but just practice your throttle control here. And if you can get this corner right, you're golden, really. So brake at the last AWS sign, keep tight, accelerate as soon as you see the Marshall hut, use the exit curb, and with this corner, you don't brake at all. So as you go past the 100 metre on your right, lift off completely, just lift, turn in, get your left hand side wheels on the curb. As you start to come off the curb, you want to be getting back on the power. The camber of the corner drags you around nicely. This is another place you can break track limits. Keep your left hand side tyres on the red and yellow curb. If you go all four wheels off, you will invalidate the lap or get a speed token if you're in the race. So carry the speed through, but keep your tyres on the curb. Then you want to get back over to the left hand side. You want to start braking just before the Marshall hut. So you want to brake down to third, lift off, turn right, get your right hand side wheels on the curb. And as you see the NASCAR kids starting to end, you want to be back on the power. And this will carry the speed through. Again, the cambered corner will drag you around. Use the exit curb, careful not to hit the wall, which I'm guilty of doing many times. And that will drag you round onto the straight. We will watch that whole sequence in real time. So you want to lift at the 100, turn in, accelerate as you come off the curb, keep in track limits, brake just before the marshal hood down to third, accelerate as you come off the curb, and that is a lap of Watkins Glen. As you will see, with race fuel that was a 144 flat, could have been a 43 if I did a bit better. With the rookie amateurs, if your pace isn't at that, don't worry about it. It's more giving you a reference for braking and accelerating points. The track conditions will be completely different, so you may have better times because you'll have more grip. But what I'll do now is I will go back to the start and I will do a full lap without me rabbiting on, so you get a good thing of watching it without me going on. And as usual, I will go to the outside of the car so you can see the position of the car on the track. And that is the track guide for Watkins Glen. I I'm going to be doing the rest of the track guides for the upcoming series because I need to do one for Quarter and Snetterton and Indy. There is already his track guides up for Silverstone and Brands Hatch, which I will link to in the Discord. If anyone has any questions, message me in the Discord, tag me, I'm easy to find. Coaching sessions will be on a Wednesday evening around 7:15 UK time. The extra ones on a Tuesday won't be taking place for the foreseeable because I'm racing in the IMSA Championship on a Tuesday night, so it will be Wednesday evenings. Miles Dixon, oNiD's resident alien, will be joining us, which is of great value to everyone because he can offer even more insight than I can, and hopefully he'll be able to give you even more tips than I can. So I hope this track guide helps you. I hope it gives you a good idea of the track. And again, any questions, message me on Discord, and I'll see you later on.